Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Handegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road across from Rufino's. Welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch. 145 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Handegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro here with you. Jordan Kinch's back in the studio. Bright, sunshiny, and cold day here in the capital city. Glad that you're with us. It's fitting that it's cold today since we start with hockey, which we never do. For obvious reasons, lead with a hockey game. But
you don't remember those 80s, the 1980 shows, Charlie, we were doing?
We just missed it by a little bit, with the day of the Gretzky trade or the Miracle on Ice. No, I don't remember doing those, but I remember. It's one of those, I think, moments that you kind of remember where you were and where you were watching the game. I remember where I was in 80 watching that game. I was 9 years old, okay? I was watching with my parents. We watched the game together. And that didn't happen very often in our house. My parents weren't sports fans. We sat down and we watched that game. And yesterday, sitting there with my wife watching this game, and needless to say, she's not a gigantic hockey fan either, but it was compelling. It almost required you to watch. If you knew it was on and you knew it was going on, if you were on social media, certainly, but even if you weren't, if you pass that, this was compelling. This had everything you want in a sporting event. The stakes were the highest. You had players that were absolutely laying out. Couldn't possibly have cared more about what they were doing. And then you had a great hockey game. And then, of course, you had storylines after that. But this was the best of sports to me. Okay, this is everybody, even if you are not a hockey fan, the great Al Michaels' line, it doesn't matter whether you know a blue line from a clothesline, this game kind of means something. That's how it felt in 80. This might not be the Cold War going on, okay? The Canadians aren't exactly the villains that the Russians were in 80, but this demanded your attention. If you knew it was on, it demanded your attention. And then the way it finished, you had a great – like in 80, you had a great goaltender, Jim Craig, Connor Hellebuck. In 80, Aruzioni, the captain, scored what ended up being the winning goal. Now, it wasn't in overtime like this, against the Soviets.
Pretty late, though.
It was in the third period. It was 10 minutes to go, as a matter of fact.
It was 10?
And the reason I remember that is because in the documentaries, they're like, we had to hold the Russians off for 10 minutes,
right.
And, it's an eternity. And then, this time it's Jack Hughes. In 80, you had, to me, there were like two iconic pictures. One of them was immediately at the Zeros, the American kids raising their hands. Sports Illustrated put it on the cover, and if I'm not mistaken, Jimmy, they put it on the cover without any words. They just put the picture there of the Americans with their hands in the air and the Russians behind them having lost. And Jim Craig, with the American flag draped around his shoulders, looking for his dad in the stands. Because his mom
after the Finland game?
That was after the Russians game.
Okay.
But
he had the flag on his shoulders after the Russian game?
No, that must have been after the Finland game. But I remember him looking.
It's kind of bad karma to do that before when you got
right. You're right. It was after the Finland game. But I remember him looking, because the Olympics are about stories, right? Okay, and this game afterwards, there was an awful lot of talking about Johnny Gaudreau, and when they brought his kids down there, I mean, if you didn't feel that was
unbelievable.
But I remember Jim Craig looking for his dad because his mom had recently passed, and his mom was the one that wanted him to play in the Olympics, and she was like, don't go pro until after you play in the Olympics, and that was a big deal. And I remember Craig looking for his dad in the stands who was watching the game, and then, you get Johnny Gaudreau's Gaudreau's kids go down for the picture, and they're bringing his jersey around. I mean, this was heavy stuff, man.
It's been a lot of it, Charlie.
Yeah,
It's
and
been
I know
a
this
lot
was
of
the
it.
last one. This was the end.
It's been a lot of it.
You know.
You say it's about stories, and I mean, I get that, but I think maybe why, and I've been telling you this for a couple of weeks now, why I've been really, really enjoying it so much more, even on some of the coverage tape delayed, is because, well, is Peterson trying or not for Kansas today? I don't know. Well, he played, but, load management. Is this team playing? Are they really trying in the NBA All-Star game? There's so much of that. Are they tanking? Is this team tanking? The whole thing. I don't care for the Olympic team, to the skiers, these people are competing their asses off. I mean, they are. I mean, the dude just lost a few teeth, man.
That'll be the picture we remember, right? Hughes, well, a few of them, but Hughes with no teeth, bleeding from the mouth, flag draped around his shoulders, game-winning goal.
But NBC also is just even on their – because it's the time difference challenge in the era where everybody knows the results. It's hard to hide from those results if you care about them. They just did an incredible job of sort of doing the right amount of editing for their primetime shows.
Yeah.
It wasn't like golf where, hey, we hadn't seen this golfer for his last 40 shots, but let's take a look at 15. Oh, he holds it in. I mean, it's so predictable, man.
Yeah.
But they showed enough of them, and they showed it in real-time announcing, and it was just, and Tariq's a star in this. I mean, he was a star. He had some tough interviews, man. The skier who won the slalom, the girl, Scheffler, and her deal was, she had lost her dad, and she was, balling over, and dad, so just kind of, he had it in studio with her last night, and she's a tough interview. She's just a complicated person in the overthinking, but talking about where the stress and the pressure of these Olympics were such a storyline that bled over from sport to sport. How the girl, the quad god, I mean, he blows it out the water for the team, but the individual, he can't even attempt a quad. He was so bad, and the pressure got to him. And then the female, Alyssa Liu, I think is her name, she's like, no, she went and did other things, so she had balance in her life. So it wasn't all or nothing for her. She just wanted to go skate. And the lack of stress led her to pressure. So the girl did say, is it Schiffer? The slalom?
Schifrin. Yeah,
Schiffer.
Michaela Schifrin.
Yeah, and so she says, maybe there'll be a shift. If there's too much, you may have a little bit of a life outside of training. Now, you got to train to give yourself a chance, an extreme amount, but it's just kind of where this young athlete in this pressure balance to it was really interesting, I thought.
So much compelling stuff.
There wasn't no pressure in them cats on the skates yesterday morning, though. They were knocking the hell out of each other. But, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. So I'm trying to take this sport into something that we're much more we're much more trained, much more knowledgeable of. Is this a football game where a team outgains a team by 170 yards and loses?
In the red zone multiple times more, yeah. And
is it
because of the shot differential?
Is it a baseball game where, man, we hit 5 line drives just right at people?
We left 17 people on base, or one of those deals.
Something like that. I'm trying to get, and I'm not a hockey person. I'm not informed enough to know, but how can you not think Canada's going to win watching that thing? I mean, the shots on goal, my goodness. I mean, they were just hanging on. And even the announcers did a good job. U.S. announcers, they got the 1-0 lead in the first intermission. Okay, the second one is 1-1, and they're like, geez, Canada's bringing it, Jack.
The shot advantage in the last 2 periods was 33-18 and felt like more than that. Okay, when I saw the stat, I'm like, gosh, it feels like it was maybe double that. You're holding your breath the entire time with Hellebuck. It's like if this guy doesn't basically become this brick wall, they would have no chance here. And then I read again, this goes back to the beginning of the thing. They killed every penalty in the
Yes,
Olympics,
including
18,
a two-person.
two-man advantage.
The announcer, is it Olchik or whatever, is the color guy
he's
with
awesome.
Albert. And Kenny Albert got a little run as well on this. A lot of people thought he got some real glowing reviews during his announcing as well. He's not considered to be that elite level guy, but he had some really good call. The women's call was excellent.
Yeah,
on Friday. So it's Olchik says usually when you have the 2 minute, because it's overlapping penalties, you might have 15, 20 seconds. This was a minute and a half.
Which is an eternity.
And that guy still stopped him. I mean, it was just pow, pow. I mean, it was just they were peppering him left and right, and he was just unbelievable. And he kept him in the game, kind of like a hot pitcher. Yeah. You keep him in the game, and you steal it at the end. And the reduced, and because had they play overtime with 5-on-5, advantage Canada.
Yeah.
3-on-3, it's way more of a flip of the coin.
And didn't you feel like, because when it's going to the overtime, I know it's 3-on-3, and I looked at Trace, I said, this probably won't last very long. Somebody's going to score very quickly.
Well, all you had to do is look at the results for the others. We saw our fair share of overtime games.
It's not
this
something
the fourth in the last 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's not something I've watched 100 times, but I know enough to know this is not going to last 8 minutes or something like that.
If you're just paying attention the last couple of days in the Olympics, you saw how, even in the women's game as well, I mean, it's going to where one announcer said, this is like, you better win that face-off because you're not so sure if you're going to even get the puck back and even get a shot. That's how, offensive friendly it is. So it's just, hockey wins. Hockey wins. You remember those days back when I was kind of watching, seeing what the Flames are doing a little bit after Lake Placid.
Oh, after
following Jim Craig, but
Jim
he didn't have a long career, but we were following him.
Right.
A little bit.
We did, and that was the other big similarity to the game. And I know Craig gave up 3 goals in that game, and they won it 4-3, and this was 2-1. But the shot advantage for the Russians in '80 was huge.
You have colleagues in Canada as well, and to me, on paper, the Canadians brought way better game than what they had been showing before this gold medal game.
They said it was basically their best performance of the whole tournament. I mean, Finland was a good opponent for them, but they struggled in the semifinal where they probably shouldn't have against Slovakia, who was a good team, or I guess the U.S. played Slovakia.
No. They struggled in the quarters in the semis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Czechs, they had to go to.
The semis especially was.
And in Finland.
Yeah, Finland, they weren't as bad about that because
they were losing late, Max.
They were, but Finland was a good team, and they actually thought it was another performance like that where their offense was good. They just didn't find the net.
Finland is good, but you play with fire enough. They were just skating by. They were down late. They had to go to, this is what our hockey guys like Randy McKay come and tell us. He said, "Look, Czechs got 2 good goalies that might keep them in the games." And the second time they did. The first time they got routed, if you remember, by Canada. But the second time they had the lead late, so they had to get a goal to tie it and a goal to win it very, very late in the semifinal. So you kind of, maybe Canada didn't have their extra, knockout punch to just finish, to kind of keeping opponents in the games a little bit more than they should have.
Once again, Connor McDavid. I mean, he's supposed to be the best hockey player, and he is, but he once again falls short in a final. He's
got the MVP.
Yet to have a Stanley Cup. He did. They voted on that after the first period. So that's
after the first period.
Yes, that's when the MVP voting for that.
That's a little bit flawed.
Yes, it is. I would say so. And maybe we want to see the outcome of that game.
We've seen that. We've seen that catch us before. Warren Morris didn't win the MVP in the '96 series either. We voted in the 7th inning. Okay. You remember that?
This is the Olympic gold medal game.
I think they could have waited. Yeah,
I mean,
we had to write it down and send
how
it.
How long did they have a ceremony?
Oh,
it was at least 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
you can.
They could have done it.
You can wait.
Much better.
Yes.
Much better.
We're live over here at Chris's Specialty Foods. Man, I was checking out some of the. Oh man, I love this. Cream cheese, jalapeno cream cheese, stuffed. Boneless chicken thighs. You've got all the different pork sausages. You got different different crawfish etouffee and gumbos that ready to just heat and serve. Or we got some of the packets with whether it's shrimp creole or crawfish etouffee, chicken and sausage gumbo. We got all of where you kind of basically it's a roux and seasoning packages that we have over here as well. You got it here at Chris's Specialty Foods. Oh man, we just ran out. We were overloaded with boudin king cake orders for the Mardi Gras season, so that as well. And don't forget for lunch during the week, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We do small plates like the loaded baked potato steak fries, the crawfish queso, boudin cakes, different soups, salads, and we do platters, sandwiches, rolls as well. Po' boys over here at Chris's Specialty Foods. So come on by and see us here on Highland Road, directly across the street from Rufino's.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. New Handycast coming your way this afternoon. Podcast on LSU baseball. It's brought to you by on YouTube. Brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. Celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026 and supporting our Louisiana farmers. Go to SupremeRice.com. Jimmy, we had the rare double on Saturday. 1 versus 3 and 2 versus 4 in college basketball. Duke and Arizona both come out on the winning side, the number 3 and number 4 ranked teams anyway. More impressive to you now, Duke getting physical with Michigan and really having a huge advantage on the boards, especially on the offensive side of that thing, and winning by 3 on a neutral site. Or Arizona going to Houston and beating the Cougars where they don't lose very often without Koa Pete and without Dwayne Aristode, one of their key bench guys, winning that game by 7. Which one caught your attention more? Because they were both pretty impressive, I thought.
Cameron Boozer is, he's just – who's more physical than him in college basketball? He plays so hard. For a guy that's going to be drafted, he plays. When did he's not? He's just so. But sometimes we've seen these Duke teams pushed around a little bit. But not this. Not that. I just you kind of scoffed at me when I brought up the Karl Malone comparisons. Karl Malone, as a freshman in college, I don't think was as big as Boozer is. So he's just a different guy, man. And we know because of his pedigree. We know because of his dad and, him playing at Duke. So the playing for Duke means something, even if it's going to be just 1 year. This guy brings it hard, plays hard every time. So I thought Michigan just missed a lot of shots. And I think that was sort of the theme for both teams in the losers in a game. Michigan, 6 of 25 from 3-point range in their game. And, Houston scored in the 60s at 66, and they finished, 8 for 26 from 3-point range. I think the more surprising is Arizona because they were out not only with Pete but another starter as well. And to go into Houston where they're undefeated, that was more surprising to me. But I want to see how Houston responds tonight in Kansas. But I'm not going to go overreact to either one. Sinak, the Newman kid, 13 more boards. He's getting more and more active on the boards. So they just didn't shoot it so well. And the guy that's really shot it best for them is Flemings, and he was 6 of 17. Put him with Sharp. 8 for 28 between those two. That's just not good. But not only that, Charlie, was Arizona led for like 95% of the game. They were winning the whole time. They jumped them. They're ready to play. And it was just like Houston was battling uphill the whole time. Duke led for a big part of the game. I know Michigan made a little bit of a run, but it was kind of they kind of controlled it a little bit more. So the biggest takeaway is that how comfortably these two teams won. because I really expected Arizona to go into a tough spot. They were not playing well coming into the game. They had lost 2 of 3 and failed to cover all 3 of those.
Yeah, Houston.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, let me talk about Boozer first, because I don't remember you bringing up Karl Malone and me scoffing.
Well, we talking about, you said, well, Karl Malone was this big and this big, and well, deeper into his career.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm saying if I'm going to think about a Peterson, I got a guy that's going to play hard. I think he's going to be I might be dumb, but less of a load management concern. Okay,
yeah.
I think he'll play through a little aches and pains. And I just think he set himself up to be a compiler and to pay a very long career in the NBA, where he's going to compile some pretty big numbers when it's all said and done.
Here's what I think about Boozer as opposed to Malone. You know how big a Malone fan I am. Boozer is so much better a shooter at this point of his career.
Most players are, though.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
But this is drastic, and I'm going to go to the free throw line where we can kind of compare apples to apples.
I'm a big believer in that.
Karl Malone was a 48% free throw shooter as a rookie, okay?
Oh, wow.
Now this is – he played 4 years at Louisiana Tech, so I'm guessing when he was a rookie at Utah, he's somewhere around 23 years old. Boozer's what, 19?
What's he shooting from the line?
75%,
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, like 78% for a big – that's 7-footers with Karl Anthony Towns. Had the highest free throw percentage for a 7-foot freshman ever. He's not 7 feet, but he's 6'10".
Right. I shortchanged him, 77%, excuse me. And he's shooting – 40% from three-point range. Malone did not even attempt a three-point shot until his 4th year in the NBA. So Boozer's offensive – now, Malone was a brute, okay, and his field goal percentage was good because he got a lot of his points in the paint. He just overpowered people. But as far as the offensive skill at the same point in their careers, Boozer is much more
I'm going to tell you, though, go pull up a freshman picture of Karl Malone in Ruston. I bet this guy's thicker.
Oh, yeah. He's listed at 250 pounds. I don't think Malone weighed 250 as a freshman at La Tech. No.
I mean,
now, when he got to Utah, you remember the guy at the end of his career. I mean,
yeah, he was a bodybuilder, almost. But that
was much later.
He had just the right amount, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where it wouldn't take away from his flexibility and his agility. But and when you talk about that, Boozer is closest to his ceiling right now. I get that because he's so developed physically and, like you're talking about, his skill level. 77% for a freshman in college is unbelievable for a 6'10" guy. That's even that's historic, almost. Okay, I just think that the league where you're getting a guy who's going to play every night. I mean, what would Karl Malone do now? In the load management era. I mean, he'd really just destroy people. Huh? I mean, Max, you were down there Friday night. All you see when Zion Williamson on the offensive end, that's not his problem. They can't handle him. Mm-hmm. They don't even want to guard him. I mean, he just goes through him. You know, he's so physical. He's not a Zion Williamson, but damn it, man, he brings it every freaking night. And I'll tell you one thing he won on Saturday night. He won the Player of the Year. He's getting it.
And I have no problem.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
He should. I'll tell you who he reminds me a lot of. It's another Duke guy. He reminds me a lot of Elton Brand. And Brand was about the same size as him. It also had, if you want to call it, tweener problems in the NBA. He was the first pick in the draft. And he was an all-star a couple of times, but he was never a superstar.
Major difference, though.
Go ahead.
Major difference. Brand was a back-to-the-goal player.
He was. The game was different.
Boozer is a face-the-basket player.
Yeah.
Now, he will back you down and post you up sometimes, but no, it's just these guys, the bigger players are just – they start playing like that in middle school, Charlie. Facing the basket. The very few Brand his whole game was back to the basket. I mean, he had a big old backside. He can back you down pretty deep.
And he was playing in the late 90s.
And he had some soft hands.
He did. He was playing in the late 90s, and his NBA career started right about 2000, 2001. And he was a good player for a long time. Was he a superstar? No.
Oh, he was a dominant college player.
He was a great college player.
Dominant.
First pick. Yeah. And he was a good NBA player for a long time. And a couple of years, he made a couple All-Star teams. I think Boozer has higher upside than he, and he may not be the first pick in the draft, but he's going to be in the top 2 or 3.
Had Brand, because of his hands, had he come up in this era, he might have been more proficient. He would have definitely been more proficient, just a matter of how much. Yeah. But Boozer is like, he's just he works on his game. You ain't got to worry about him. I'm not a Duke guy, but he's got such a strong foundation from his dad. It just seems like he's still enjoying it. It's not like where it's just almost work. It just seems like it's a real nice balance. And you know what? I'd venture to say he probably even goes to class.
I know he goes to the floor. He averages 33 minutes a game, and the only reason he doesn't average more than that is because they've blown so many people out. So.
Guess what? If you're hitting at something, our boy Peterson played 32 Saturday.
Well,
so what would
one out of every?
I'm waiting for the new theory of the week, but I mean we gotta pivot a little bit, because when he came in the game, there was a spot in the game where he was. I think it was like 30 minutes in, he played like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he played or something. He played the end of the game, the whole game, when Cincinnati really pulled away.
Right.
So they were at their weakest with him on the court.
Self is coaching 2 different teams now. The one with him and the one without. He gonna play tonight? Houston's coming to town. Kind of a big game. He gonna play?
Ask his agent.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Can we get 15 minutes out of you? How about 18? How about if we throw in a little bit of extra cheese? You play 18 minutes tonight?
You like the non-conference game this late?
Yes. Yeah, one, okay. And we used to get a little bit of this. LSU did a little bit of this in the Dale Brown era. They'd play one of those either late January or February games.
Well, more recently, the SEC, ACC challenges of Big 12 have been deeper in the season. It was like February when Buddy Hield in Oklahoma came here to play against Ben Simmons, okay? Yeah. They can move it back later, but all the travel and I don't know, maybe the size of the conferences and the more of the travel has restricted it. I'm not sure, but this is a creative way to kind of make some money for your program to put in your player budget.
Yeah,
and both teams, they had over 20,000 there. They got a nice chunk, nice split from the ESPN as well.
I'm matchups like this. I'm all for it.
Got to be good though.
You do have to be good. You gotta have a little foresight to see who's going to be in the position to play in these games.
Chad Reynolds, a legacy title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060, full service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Marina Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith, buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, a legacy title. 296-0060.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods. Live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road. Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. 3 best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, what was the biggest highlight of your weekend, buddy?
It probably has to be Sunday morning, right? There's a lot of good college basketball. Obviously, that Duke-Michigan game was really, really high quality. Not like a ton of massive takeaways. Big opinions, but I think it has to be Sunday morning. I mean, we spoke on Friday. Canada, USA, gold medal hockey, men's or women's, doesn't matter. It's such a big event, especially now that you have the pros back. This was better than any All-Star game we've ever seen in the NHL, and obviously USA coming out on top at overtime. I mean, that's pure nerves. That was it for me.
No doubt, and we got to the NBA, which they had their All-Star game, was a disaster, and they tried to mimic the Four Nations, but the NHL All-Star games still suck. I mean, those are nothing. They're not getting after it like this or like the Four Nations, and it just works, and you have enough and it was even better because the games were more competitive on Canada's side on their path, way more competitive than people anticipated, and I got to tell you, maybe what was the one? What year was it where Canada won in overtime late? It wasn't his 3-on-3 format, but I mean it was. That was what?
2010. 2010,
and where was it? Do you remember?
In Canada, in Vancouver.
Okay, that's why we watched it on Sunday afternoon. Yes. Okay, so that's why there were less, but a time restraint. But hey, first time on the East Coast, you guys get the better of it, huh? 8 o'clock is much more tolerable than 5 a.m. like on the Pacific, the Pacific Coast. But it was, Troy, you're way more. You're just way more, I guess, affluent in soccer. I mean, in hockey than we are, and we were just blown away with this tournament and in its result on Sunday. Because I don't know if the U.S. got outgained by 170 yards and still won, or they left 17 on base and still won, or had too many line drives and the U.S. had a couple of dribblers, but it sure looked like it's. I mean, the goalie just kept him in it for him to steal it at the end, and that format, I think we're pretty. We know this about that 3-on-3 overtime format. It's way more of a flip of the coin.
Oh yeah. It is less legitimate, I think, especially if you don't win. I know to our friends up north, they're not very happy with the 3-on-3, but make no mistake, this is not something they just added for this Olympics. I didn't know this, but I found it out that the IAHF, the International Ice Hockey Federation, put this in their collective bargaining agreement in 2019. So this has been the case in all international hockey competitions, 3-on-3 overtime, for 7 years. So this is not some new wrinkle to even the playing field for the U.S. or whatever. Two important notes. First, from the game and kind of a little inside hockey, even though I'm not super keen on it in terms of my in-depth knowledge, but there are two things. Is one, the power play. Canada has that 5-on-3. If you can't score there, if your power play isn't performing, that's bad news. And the biggest thing, and it wasn't just from this game, but the entire tournament, is Jordan Binnington was not great. He had a couple good saves, certainly, kept Canada in it, but he was not playing world class. And the goal he gave up was a tough goal, obviously giving up a pass from across the ice, but he was outplayed by pretty much every goalie. And now the other goalies stood on their head. Obviously, Hellebuyck played sensational, but goalkeeping and power plays is what really won the game for the U.S. and lost it. And we took more money on both of the Four Nations USA-Canada games than we did on this gold medal final. And I think, this is my speculation, it has everything to do with the time. A lot of people watch the game, but you're not, at 8 a.m. you're rushing to get to a bar. I'm trying to feed my kids breakfast while also watching. I don't have a lot of time to also place bets as a recreational bettor. I didn't place them the night before. So I think while the viewership was up, there wasn't a lot of time for people to settle in and place bets as you would for that second Four Nations game that once all those fights broke out in the first game, we had 4 days to get ready for this and to bet on it.
The Four Nations game where was the setting there? Where did they play that?
Well, they moved that tournament from the U.S. and Canada, but I think the final was in Canada, I believe.
Okay, is it Canada?
Toronto, I think.
Yeah.
So it was on a prime time. I mean, it was more. It fit into this time zone.
It was a Friday night or Saturday night game. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were in New York,
yeah,
right?
We were
So
at
it was
a bar.
at night. It was at night.
It was after a Knicks game. We were watching overtime.
On a Friday or Saturday night?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, it's prime time. So I mean, this thing had to overcome that. But this is one where the TV viewership is not the handle is not going to match the TV viewership, and just because of the time and the viewership only had to gain as it was close the whole time. As you getting up in the morning, it kind of, I'm sure it picked up. It gained viewers as it went deeper into it. So, I mean, yes, they can't be playing, 30 minutes of overtime. I mean, how many teeth would be missing, from these players? I mean, you're knocking out enough teeth in this whole thing. But you found the right thing, man, where today's professional athletes care. I mean, these jokers care out there. It is the emotion. It was just the competitive, man. They are getting after it. And we don't have to be, have a PhD in hockey to figure that out.
Yeah, and I think, you can't replicate that in the NBA or in baseball, obviously not in American football, but you can replicate it in hockey. And, I went to a boarding school up in Connecticut, and our hockey team was excellent. And I played basketball, but I went to every hockey game, and we probably had 8 guys from Canada on our team. Most of the teams did. There is, and they all get along, but the Canadians and U.S. hockey players, it is a big brother, little brother scenario. Even if you're friends, like Canada thinks they're far better than U.S. hockey players, just in talent and all that stuff. So this is, some people I heard saying, well, wrestling's a bigger rivalry for Canada because they have more gold medals. No. This is in as far as American international sports, this is the biggest rivalry. Bigger than USA, Mexico, and soccer, in my opinion.
Well, the U.S. had to win. They had to win
Yeah.
one. They just can't come up short, just short over and over and over. And, I thought that game, you talk about 2010 in Canada, I thought it was more competitive than this one. You just had the goalie. Yeah, the MVP was the goalie. Come on, man. The guy saved. He had a free shot. He saved it with a stick. Try that. Try and replicate that 100 times. See how many times that happens. Unbelievable. And how about the? Did you catch, Charlie, the video, the audio of NBC? The coach. Oh, he's going to score for us. Did y'all see that?
No, I didn't.
I
the kid,
did not. No.
Yeah, the kid who scored. It was a late night. They kind of gathering all this stuff. They didn't show it, the actual game. This was more the late night.
Okay, no.
Over time, they caught him, and he said, no, because they left him on. They were considering, because they were making some switches, even on 3-on-3. They were saying, no, keep him on. He's going to score for us.
And he had the high stick that put him in the bind at the end of in regulation. Did you hear what he said after the game? He says, "Man, look, I was going to be the GOAT. I not the greatest of all time. Like, I was going to be the GOAT of this thing because they were going to score on us when they had the power play because I got called for a high stick."
Troy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a little bit of controversy on this roster that was sent in, and some people thought that Jack Hughes wasn't deserving on this roster, that they were just kind of catering to his brother.
He's smaller than the rest of the guys, first of all. He's a little guy, but he just scored. He keeps scoring all the key goals.
Yeah, there was two, Jason Robertson of the Dallas Stars and Jack Hughes, because of Quinn Hughes. And there was some controversy on the roster for the Canadian side as well as it related to their defense. But, and the fact that he lost his teeth as well, he was bloodied. That's what we think. That those photos, they were wearing the old uniforms. We will never have a 1980 Miracle on Ice. It was obviously, 46 years to the day. But, this was a classic, original six-style hockey game. And, if you put it on, at 2:30 in the afternoon, I think it's even bigger. But, you can only do so much, obviously, with the closing ceremonies at night. But I still think 2010 was the greatest hockey game I've ever seen, but this was damn good. Best hockey game I've seen. I think it was better than either of the Four Nations games. But obviously without the fighting, that really brought in another level. But I could watch Canada and USA play every day. But the thing is, stakes. Stakes matters. It's why you can try to replicate this in an All-Star game. It won't ever work because of stakes. You can say home field advantage for the World Series for the winner of this game in the MLB All-Star game. That's not real stakes, So stakes matter in sports. And that's why my favorite type of sporting event is a big game where something's on the line.
Well, like I said on Friday, give us the easier path. We don't want the Canadians in the final. You get more rewarded. So it's just.
You think those bars are packed to see USA Finland at 7:30 in the morning? I don't know about that.
No, of course. No. This is. It's it's their thing that they can pride themselves on. There's no doubt, but this is a little shot to their pride. There's no doubt about it. Anything stick out the rest? College basketball, the Olympics and now that we've kind of put the Olympics to rest. And what was it, a record Olympics in handle?
Yeah, it was. And especially is what I would equate to large bets. I think I said this on Monday, but we took more large bets on this Olympics than even the last Summer Olympics. And you're talking about a Summer Olympics that includes men and women's basketball, where, it's similarly, we took a lot of money on USA to cover games, both men and women's in basketball. And we took a lot of large bets on the obscure alpine sports, the figure skating. We took some large bets. So it was very, very profitable. And it was, a very good Olympics. And it should be gearing up for a good 2028 here in L.A. The only other two takeaways from college basketball, we haven't really talked a lot about this. I'm sure you guys have, but the Darren Peterson situation at Kansas is a massive concern now for the team, for their March outlook, and honestly, the state of NIL and contracts and things like that. And then the Duke-Michigan game, Michigan came in red hot. Duke is very good, but they had lost that week. we were taking like 3-1 Michigan to Duke on the dollar. Like, it was insane how little money Duke was getting compared to Michigan when these are the number 1 and 3 team in the country. So there was some recency bias. If they play again in the tournament, I'll watch it. I'll watch it 100 times. That was a great game, but no real takeaways other than Duke did the things far better than Michigan in the areas that Michigan we thought would have the advantage.
Yep, and the good thing is that, unlike that Canada game, the daddy-daughter dance was not in the morning on Sunday morning. They're not going to schedule daddy-daughter dances on Sunday morning, right, Troy?
I have a pre-K daughter, so we that dance for her was 45 minutes long. I was able to watch the entire second half, which was good.
There you go. Follow Troy on Twitter at Troy Macker. That's MACHIR. Thank you, Troy. We'll talk to you Friday.
Thanks, guys.
Hockey, man. We stole the show, huh? The Olympics.
It was every bit of the climactic end to the Olympics that you could want. Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Talking about Darren Peterson and the effect that Troy was touching on, and they will host the Houston Cougars tonight. Houston 1.5, a slight road favorite in that game tonight in Lawrence, Kansas. He did play 32 minutes. I checked in the middle of the game when it was tight, and it was pretty much, a point or two. I mean, it was very, very tight for like the first 30 minutes or so. But down the stretch, he played a lot more. He played 32 minutes. To put it in perspective, of the last 10 games he's played, 4 of them have been in the 30s. So he played more minutes than usual, and that's when Cincinnati pulled away. Cincinnati outscored the Kansas 48-34 on the road. That's a team that was 6-7 in the Big 12 entering that one against Kansas. So really a low spot. And as far as the betting public as well, about when this kind of started, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Peterson was still a significant favorite to be the number 1 pick, between minus $4.50 and $5. He's now down to minus 125. It's in a slight plus money on A.J. DeBonsa out of BYU. So almost a pick 'em now from where it was minus 450. And who else is in there?
Cameron Boozer's at plus 850, and then there's a huge gap. Everyone else is 100-1 or higher at that point. So it's Peterson, DeBonsa, and then Boozer with a slight, distant third.
That's where it is right now. So we will see. But Peterson, that wasn't a problem. Him playing, he just didn't play effectively, and his team didn't play as well with him on the floor as well. We'll take a time out as we continue live at lunch, live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland, right across.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And we'll return here at Chris's Specialty Foods. Come by and see us for lunch here, right across the street from Rufino's. What you got your eye on there, James?
Oh, I don't know, Charlie. One of the things about the Reuben sandwich over here, it's made with brisket that they do. So, man, that's a kind of a different twist on that, a little southern twist on that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I might just, get just a little blackened chicken Caesar wrap. I might go with today.
It's pretty good.
Something, like that. Maybe a cup of chicken and sausage gumbo with it.
And when we come over here, it's very hard. More times than not, getting that boudin stuffed chicken to take home and cook tonight. You can get it stuffed with spinach, with boudin, with rice dressing. There's a lot of different kinds.
I like the crawfish.
The crawfish is
stuff,
outstanding.
Crawfish and rice, stuffed. So
very, 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 very good. All right, LSU in Jacksonville this past weekend. The Live Like Lou Jacksonville Classic played Indiana, Notre Dame, and Central Florida. LSU won all 3 games in the series to go to 8-0 on the season. Through 8 games, what we can see about LSU is that you've got offensive options from 1 to 9 in this thing. He's got, not only does he have superstars and he's got some power bats in his lineup, It's a heavy left-handed lineup if he wants it to be. He can balance it more if he needs to from the right side. They never run very much, but they don't. They've got athletes in there, so they're not just stagnant station to station baseball. I understand they have not faced the best of competition just yet. Indiana threw a kid named Tony Newbeck, who was at Missouri last year. Newbeck had a double-digit ERA at Missouri last year. The kid, Camden Wicker at UCF, was actually on the Wofford team that LSU played back at the regional at North Carolina a couple of years ago. There was another pitcher this weekend who started his career at Alabama. I guess everybody started their career somewhere else. So I understand that they haven't seen the best of the best arms just yet. But you score 97 runs in 8 games, you're doing something right. And they're slugging 633. So that is not in any way my my concern at this point. This team can hit, and I have no doubt that they'll continue to hit. It's about shaking out roles for LSU right now in the pitching staff, and you ask some kids to take the next step. Kason Evans, who was outstanding for LSU a year ago, I thought was better in his second. We call it Friday night. It was Friday afternoon. Friday outing as opposed to the first one. The strikeout total is still up, so he's still missing a lot of at-bats. The one inning that he ran into trouble with, you had an error, you had a couple of infield hits, and a couple of walks. Now, the walks are bad. The rest of it, it's not like he got run out of the park. There were just some balls that kind of rolled into no man's land, and then the error really did hurt. Other than that, I thought he was okay. Gavin Guidry was strong once again. He's off to a terrific start. When a kid's coming back from an injury, like a back injury, you never really know. For Guidry, the breaking ball's working. Not only is the big breaking ball working, but that cutter is better than the last time we saw him. The fastball's always been, probably his second best pitch, but it's not bad right now. And he struck out 11 and hadn't walked anybody in 5 1/3 innings. So I'm very encouraged by what we've seen out of Gavin Guidry. And Cooper Moore had another good start. He was Kansas's best pitcher a year ago, but most of those starts were not on Friday night, so he settled into the Saturday night role. He's got 17 strikeouts and 1 walk. So I'm going to love that. He's a classic power pitcher. He's got a wide variety of breaking stuff. He says he still throws 5 or 6 pitches. I can just tell you that the fastball is plenty good enough at 93, 94, and this guy throws strikes. I don't know that he's ever going to, go out there and look like a Cade Anderson or certainly not a Paul Skeens, but he's a strike thrower, and that's really all that you want. But the story of the weekend, I thought, was Sunday and William Schmidt. And if William Schmidt can continue to progress the way he has both in the fall and in the preseason practices and scrimmages to what we're seeing now, this was another very good step for him. Last week, what happened? Walks were up again, 3 in 4 innings. The walks were a problem last year. Yesterday, not so much, and not just with the lack of walks, but fewer 3-ball counts than a week ago when it took him 93 pitches to get through 4 innings. Yesterday, it was 91 pitches to get through 5 innings, so this is better. And there were 2 spots in the ball game that I really liked for Schmidt. One of them was with runners at second and third and only 1 out. He reached back and got back-to-back strikeouts. The strikeouts are going to be there for him because he misses a lot of at-bats, and it's now 16 strikeouts in 9 innings. It's just, are you going to make that pitch, that killer pitch, when you have to, when there's runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs? So that was the one situation that he was in that I was really impressed that he got out of. And then the second one was just the fact that he did not walk multiple batters in yesterday's game and only gave up 3 hits. So I thought all of that was very good. Maverick Rizzi came in and pitched 2 good innings. Again, his walk total is a little bit higher than I'd like to see it, but one thing at a time. So a good weekend for LSU with the 3 wins. none of these games, the Friday game, they had to come from behind. The score got out of hand, but they were actually trailing going into the 8th inning when they put up the 9 spot and won that game going away 14-7. One other item of note on the weekend, Kent State, who was here on Monday and LSU went to Knoxville and beat Tennessee 2 out of 3 and lost in the other game by a single run. Word around the campfire is Kent State's not just your garden variety mid-major, that they're a little bit better than that. That weekend in Knoxville caught some people's attention. So it's one game in the middle of the week, but a little something just to keep your eye on. So a good weekend for LSU baseball. They are back in action tomorrow night.
Well, you're talking about so with Schmitty, he, he's a first-round draft pick material. Yeah. Okay, he's a first-round draft pick talent, and just didn't, had a rough transition. It's about projection. It's not about where you are right now as a finished product. So we've seen that balance. We've seen some college players perform much higher than where they were projected at professional ball and vice versa. But he also had that growth spurt kind of late in his high school career. And, even Ben McDonald will tell you that the taller you are, the harder it is to kind of gain command of your stuff. And we know about his stuff. That's why, the spin rate stuff, that's why he was going to be drafted so high. It's so important. But just kind of fine-tuned. Now, he did have 2 wild pitches. So, but you could see this kind of development happening before our eyes. And he is way more command of his stuff than he did a year ago. Yeah. And it didn't start with the year. There's some of the fall ball and stuff. We're getting some of the – but you want him to miss, like you said, Charlie, miss bats. But, you also got to challenge hitters. And maybe he's just trusting his stuff a little bit more as well. I don't know his breakdown on his fastball and his breaking stuff, what they are, the breakup down. But he still, you want to look at a big inning in college baseball, a big inning anywhere. You usually have a couple of walks or a hit batsman in there. And so just trying to get it. There's no reason he should not trust his stuff. And so looks like that's what he's doing. And, 7 strikeouts to one walk yesterday. Take that every time.
Yeah, it was a better ratio than the first game. It was 93 pitches and 91 and 53 strikes. Yesterday it was 57 to 91. So it's a little bit better in the total strikes. It wasn't quite as much as I thought at first glance because I had to go back and look at the other thing. And it was 1 base runner. It was a leadoff double. Guy got to third with 1 out, and he gets a couple of strikeouts to get out of it. So he worked out of trouble. We know his talent level. We know that if he hits his ceiling, man, look out. And I love the fact that they're able to throw him on Sunday. It's different. After everybody has settled in, you've seen the lineup go through twice. You're a little bit more relaxed. There's not that amped up, that tension that you have on Friday night. It's just so much different that he's able to settle in here on the Sundays. And
you don't think it's just usually because not just for the starter, but you're also your bullpen is a little bit stressed by the time you get to Sunday?
Yep.
I mean, so
it
so
is, but you also have the advantage of you're going against the other number 3. I'm just guessing that with these bats, he's going to be pitching with a lot of leads on Sundays.
It was about 10 years ago. LSU's playing Florida in the SEC tournament, and you know how it is. It's a lot of times LSU is just playing for a seeding, but they're going to host both rounds. But then you come up against Florida, and wait, this is their 5th or 6th starter supposed to be, and it's A.J. Puck who's throwing 99 from the left side.
Dane Dunning coming in.
Well, guess what?
Like
guess what?
6th guy.
People are playing LSU. Really? This is their Sunday guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This first round pick.
This is BS, man.
Right.
I mean, this guy gives up first round money to throw on a Sunday for LSU. I mean, how embarrassment of the riches that Johnson has gone.
He really does, and 3 of the guys that they really depended on a year ago have not come out of the gate all that strong. In Zach Cowan, Cooper Williams, and even Evans. Evans was better on Friday, but it's not exactly what we were expecting. It's
different.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. They're all adjusting.
And you know what? If it's not working, he can go back to it.
Yeah. So Tigers at 8-0.
And the other thing, Charlie, is by far, although they minus the first game where they were down in a 6th or 7th inning by a run before they exploded.
The 8th. They were behind on
even more so.
Yeah.
These were non-competitive games, but this is certainly should be a stiffer competition in what they've seen so far. Milwaukee, even they should be better than Creighton.
No,
Central Florida's in Orlando. They've got a little baseball budget. They got they should be okay. And even the Notre Dame's a cold ass place. It's an hour from Chicago. It's cold as heck. Still, those teams have had decent programs. Indiana in Notre Dame as of late,
and Central Florida playing in the Big 12 now. Their level of program, I think, has benefited from that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Big 12, I think, is a quality baseball conference. I would have it.
But they have to spend more on traveling now, so
they do.
That might offset the money. The money they're getting from the league is not like SEC or Big 10 money. So I just wonder if it. I don't know
how much they're spending. I know they're playing against better teams now. I don't know how much they're spending.
I know. As far as you draw, as far as the kids, like prospects, they to be playing for an American program or a major, a Big 12 program, that makes a difference. I know some kids were recruited by Houston when they made that jump, and it kind of made a difference for them in the recruiting. But they were, in baseball, some of those Florida schools have been really good for a long time.
I can remember going down there with one of Smoke Laval's teams. That would have been about 2004 or 2005 when LSU played against them. Suffice to say, the program's come a long way since then with facilities and the league that they're in now. So it's a better program.
Charlie, you mentioned that Kent State win looking a lot better. They're 11th in the way too early RPI if you want to look at that. But unfortunately, you're getting Northeastern a couple times this weekend. Sadly, they're not the team they were last year. They're 0-5. They've been run ruled 3 times at this point.
They had won like 30 in a row at the end of last year.
Yeah, they
won
were
the tournament.
One of the streaky hot teams going in last year, but not the same this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not terribly worried about their RPIs, but yeah, I think if Kent State can go to Knoxville and win 2 out of 3 and be highly competitive in the other game, that's a really good showing.
I just love to get one more test before you open up, against Vanderbilt.
Don't you think Tennessee's program is going to dip without Vitello?
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of how much.
Absolutely. Yeah, but they're still an SEC team. So if you go in there and you get 2 out of 3,
no, there's still there's a lot of things in place to be good at Tennessee, but they lost their guy.
Did you see him talking right before the Giants started spring training the other day?
No.
It was nostalgia lane, man. He didn't want to talk about the Giants at all. He just wanted to talk about college baseball.
He's a college baseball guy. I can't think of many worse.
The beat writers were incredulous. They're like, dude, you want to start talking about the Dodgers and the Padres, man. Tennessee's in your rearview mirror. Are you really into this?
Rough start. He wanted to know who found out when he was getting the job and stuff.
Yeah, he was it was
rough start in terms of media training for
him.
Kind
of a bizarre press conference to open up spring training for the Giants.
Well, that's why. I mean, he has not coached one day in professional baseball. Not one day. And so, I mean, this is kind of what you get. It's not just the piss and vinegar. Better calm down. Okay, because that crap, that nonsense ain't going to fly in major league level, and he's going to market. They don't want to hear about Tennessee.
No, they could care less about college
That's
baseball.
already setting up the criticism if they start having some issues. What are we doing with this college coach? I mean, and forever, you got to keep in mind, it's not that far in the rearview mirror that the arrogance from the major league level to the college level, it's tightened so much in the level of respect, the level of resources, the level of, just the whole, it is tightened. It is, college baseball has really gained so much ground on minor league baseball. So much, if not passed it up. But still, if you go act like that, no, I'm sorry. I mean, it was a little bit of when Nick Saban talked about the NFL references, okay, I can listen to that. I don't want to hear East Lansing references.
You watch way more Major League Baseball than me. Keep an eye on the Giants early. Just keep an eye. Just take a look.
And that's a franchise, even with the big elephant in the room, the possible strike, the lockout strike, whatever you want, work stoppage that's coming up next year. This is a team that hasn't been super, super deep pockets and won 3 of them. They won 3 times.
It's a proud franchise.
It's well supported. They think they have a chance. Now they know they don't have a level playing field with the Giants. I mean, I'm with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They get that, but that stuff continues. Yeah, that's only setting himself up for the criticism.
We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store. The Pierre Part Store, also now open in LaRose and Lockport. Go to thethibodauxstore.com. Great specials on the website right now. 50% off of multiple Channel Lock brand items. Clamps, tripods, headlamps, flashlights, work lights, light-duty bench, vices, and clamps. All of that on special at the website right now. You're getting ready for tailgating out at Alex Box Stadium. Well, your outdoor cooking equipment, both for your home and the portable stuff, pots, burners, grills, griddles, all of this available at the Thibodeau Store. The weather's a little bit cold today, okay? The warmer weather is coming, Jimmy. Trust me, spring will follow winter, okay, every year. So when we get out there with the good weather for tailgating, want to get you supplies at the Thibodeau Store, all your accessories to go with it, too.
In somebody's words, you don't get credit for predicting the spring, Charlie.
It is kind of an easier than predicting Tony Vitello will be back in college baseball by 2028.
The Groundhogs were wrong like 75% of the time, apparently. The Groundhog is an absolute terrible predictor of spring.
That thing's so outdated. No, they need somebody else. Get a kangaroo or something. I don't know. That Groundhog's got to go.
Ask Bill Murray. The Thibodeau Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, in Pierreport. It's on Highway 70 and online. It's thethibodauxstore.com. Live at Chris's Specialty Foods. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And return here at Chris's Live at Lunch. Men's basketball over the weekend in the Southeastern Conference. A couple things I want to get to. Jimmy, first, I don't know what you thought. We watched some of this game together, LSU and Alabama. I didn't think that Alabama was in control, I thought, for most of this game.
Absolutely.
The game ended up 7 points. I thought Alabama on, what was it, Wednesday night? The double overtime game with Arkansas, Tuesday or Wednesday night?
I think it's Wednesday
night. Yeah, you got that maximum, man, every basket feels like life or death kind of atmosphere. They ended up, coming from behind to win that game. You figured there would be a little bit of a letdown. And I think we've seen this in a few games against LSU so far in the back end of the Southeastern Conference season, especially, that you're not getting necessarily the A game. This is a letdown spot in some of these cases. Tennessee, I never thought was as into it when they played Arkansas. It's a better example. Is Arkansas and Fayetteville. I kind of thought that's what.
Tennessee too, Charlie. I mean, LSU's got the lead. It's like middle of the second half in that game.
Yeah, and did you think that they were going to win at any point in Knoxville? I really didn't.
No, come on.
I mean, they had a little bit better chance at Texas, but I've just come to expect that something bad is going to happen. I thought Alabama kind of was like, okay, we'll do what we need to do to win this game. If they get within shouting distance, we'll turn it on.
Well, it was a spot, like you said, when you have a double overtime game where the game was just if they went through any lapses in that game, they were going to get left behind. I mean, you had to be. There was no really lulls in that game. And, I mean, it took everything that Alabama had to win that game by a bucket where Acuff missed a shot and then they missed a putback jam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's as close to going triple overtime as you can get. And maybe they would come in where, well, look at the standings. LSU's at the bottom of the SEC standings. They may come in a little sleepy and a little bit fatigued. And they did a little bit, but not enough to where LSU ran out. They didn't dig themselves a hole. LSU didn't jump out 10 or 12. It never did happen. So enough, it wasn't their ultimate A game, and LSU's not getting a whole lot of teams ultimate A game. We just talked about a bunch of them, but certainly enough where Oates' team can't come in sleepwalking now, and this would be a really bad loss for us. We give up more in splitting these two than we do, losing to Arkansas and beating LSU. We lose more with the opposite happening. So Oates. The other thing, Charlie, they have been a very good road team, and I've talked about that a lot because of their extreme offensive approach, their extreme style. It lends itself to, threes, layups, and dunks only. It lends itself to a little bit of an easier figuring out things on the road.
And they get to the free throw line, which they did a lot in this game as well, which is helpful.
That was the one real big difference in the box score was the free throws. The number of free throws that they.
How many did they put them at the line in the end when they were trying to get back into it? 6 maybe something.
Yeah.
Just kind of there was a little bit of that, but to exaggerate it, what was the final free throw attempt number?
37 attempts for Alabama, 22 for LSU.
37-22.
You're right though that bad loss. Ask Missouri how much that is hurting them with their nets down in the 60s. Now it's not just that game. It ends up being amazingly it's a quad 1 loss because you get credit all the way up to 75.
LSU's metrics are still. They're in the 50s.
Yeah.
And Ken Palm, where are they in NET?
68, I believe, is today.
And Ken Palm in the 50s.
67 today.
Oh, yes.
I still don't. Okay. If you say so. We did have some good basketball at some other spots in the league. Auburn got a tip in with less than 2 seconds to go.
Mark Pope getting a fine.
That's 3 straight for Kentucky to drop.
Well, it's caught up with them. A game that they could have easily won. They cover in this one. They were catching 2.5, 3.5 points in the game. The effort was there. Auburn is definitely in a desperate spot. They're kind of creeping toward that bubble. And Pope was very critical of the officials after, kind of a weird way to do it. But anyway, Kentucky had been getting so lucky, and they've been winning all the close games. Now they're losing the close ones. And you play enough close ones, Canada, you're going to lose one eventually. So it's kind of just balancing out their. They have, I think, the highest payroll in the league, and their roster just doesn't match. They missed on some guys. They missed. And Pope might not be the guy.
Might not. Might not. A&M gets their second straight after they had lost 4 straight. Now this is against the bottom of the league. Oklahoma and
on the road,
Ole Miss and so that's kind of where I'm going. They sit again squarely in that bubble range because they have the worst strength of schedule in the league. They're 16 out of 16, so they're still sitting in the 40s at 42 on the net. But they turned around the losing streak at least. We'll see what they're made of. Their next 3 are at Arkansas, Texas, and Kentucky at home.
That's a game where you don't get as much it's a harder game than you're getting credit for. At Oklahoma now.
Yeah.
They are improved. There's nobody that's had more bad luck than Oklahoma this year. They are improved, and I just can't figure. And the real puzzling thing to me, or surprising thing, was it wasn't just nip and tuck the whole time. It was, wasn't Oklahoma building a double-digit lead like they did against Alabama and Texas and still lost. They were down big. They were down double digits and had to scramble back just to make it close at the end. So A&M went in there and kind of got control of things. Were way better. Got a little shaky at the end, but A&M got in there and took care of business.
The other game. This is one of these things. Just if you like good basketball, you could watch this game. I don't know how much it means. Tennessee and Vandy were tied with under 2 minutes to go, and Tennessee ended up basically making 3 or 4 free throws in the last 2 minutes to win this game by 4. I say, just to watch good basketball, how much does it mean? Both of these teams are safely in. They might, with a little run at the end, be a protected seed, but more than likely you're looking at 4 or 5 seeds, somewhere in that area. They're just going to be hard outs. They're good teams. I don't think that they have Elite Eight type runs in them. If they make it to the second weekend, I could think they could do that. They're just good basketball teams. They're not elite basketball teams. They're not bad basketball teams. They're very evenly matched. They're right on top of each other in the net. And Tennessee got a nice road win.
How many conference games? What was Vanderbilt's record before they finally lost when they were undefeated?
6.
Was it like
5 or 6? I think that they got.
So, and remember I told you about Memphis, and Memphis got smoked again.
I'm sorry, it was just 3. It was just 3.
But 3-0, and since
they had another 3-game winning streak besides that. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so since then they're very average. They're 5-6 in the league.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is one where traditionally Vanderbilt they're much closer in roster this year than they've been in previously, and won these games at home, and that's why I thought it was just going to be Vanderbilt's night. Tennessee, Charlie, I'll say they have more of a chance to make a deep run into the tournament than Vanderbilt does. Barnes' teams play better defense. They're improving on defense. They only gave up 65. 65 is a low number. So they are defended a little bit better, and their freshman, their lottery pick, is getting better and better.
Yeah.
And amen. And so I think that it's like Vandy. Remember that? Well, the metrics say Vandy's, that's wrong. They got the highest camp. No, they're not that team. And so they've proven it out. They're back to where they should be. They're a 500 team in the league. They're going to be a tournament team. They might win a game or 2, but they're not a team to make a deep run. I think Tennessee's way more capable.
I was going to ask you, Jimmy. If I tell you right now that there's an SEC team in the Final Four and it's not Florida, who is it?
Arkansas. It's Arkansas.
I want to say
Arkansas or Tennessee. I don't put Missouri or Kentucky in there, and I've maintained that for a couple of weeks.
I'm kind of thinking Tennessee because Arkansas reminds me a lot of Alabama. They
defend better than Alabama.
To me, I mean, we've seen it in the last couple games. Obviously, they played each other and they played 110 or whatever in 2 overtimes. But I'm a little bit. I watched Arkansas in person in the PMAC, and granted that was a letdown spot. I don't know if Arkansas's defense is good enough to make a run either. But
they have talent. They have a lot of it, and they have a coach that's been there before. And Calipari's had his fair share of disappointments, probably more disappointing losses than maybe anybody. But their length, their ability, and they got a guy. And what do you want in the tournament too? You want March? You want guards? Okay, who's a better guard in the country than him? I mean, they have a lot of upside, and
him and Fleming's from Houston are my 2 favorites. Those 2 guys.
I think Acuff is a little stronger.
I got him what? They're very
I think
very
he's
close
more
to
of
me.
a well-rounded guard, and he can create for his teammates way more than Fleming's. Fleming's it can score anywhere, but I don't see him creating for his teammates. He can create for himself.
Yeah.
And he's got such soft shot. His hands, I mean, it's a soft shot. Not tremendously recruited, too, Charlie. Not tremendously recruited. And that's why, Sampson didn't think he could. He out-evaluated some guys on him. He's shooting up the boards. I know that as far as – and he should. But Acuff, I think, can do it way better. He's got a chance to lead the league in assists and scoring.
Yeah.
And had been done in a long time. And they got more teams in the league than ever before.
One more thing on Amen from Tennessee, and he didn't have a huge game on Saturday, but some of his biggest games have come on the road. He had 29 at Rupp. He had 29 at Coleman against Alabama. He had 28 in the game against Auburn. Now, that one was at home. So he's had some big games again in some rough environments.
Here's what I see in Amen. Okay, first of all, I know kids sometimes will tell you just what you want to hear when they put a microphone in front of you. Okay, I get that. But I've heard him enough talk. I think he's got a really good character. Okay, I think he's got good work ethic. The problem is he is high on the draft boards because he's projected. He's got a ways to go on developing, strength. He's undersized right now, and with age and with he'll build. But he is working on his game. He is finishing way more physically than he would. He was getting knocked around because his slender build, they were kind of like, we just go, physical this guy up. And he's responding. He is responding, and this is just – they're getting there. They're not there yet, and it may not ever be as strong of a defensive team that Barnes usually has, but they're improving there. They're improving. At 65 to hold Vandy to in their gym is pretty damn good.
I can see why he's where he is on the draft boards, because he is going to be the classic stretch four. He's 6'10". He's an 80% free throw shooter, and he shot. This is also impressive to me. He has shot 40% from 3-point range on the road. Well, that's some non-conference games there too, but that's pretty good for a freshman.
But he's big enough to go get some production down low.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand it's a 3-point contest, and that's what they like his stretch. But he can, he's throwing some dunks down now in traffic where he just wasn't doing that early.
And just
part
wait
of the
till he
season.
fills out a little bit. He's 6'10". You know
That's what I said.
You know what he weighs?
Not much.
210 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see him. I don't know exactly what he weighs.
Wait until he's 25 years old and he weighs 235, 245 pounds. Then you're really gonna have a monster.
Don't forget my friends over at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for our lifetime. Both Charlie and I have used Dana's team of specialized attorneys for different reasons at different stages of our life. But get in a traffic accident, never fun. Call Dana, get in with him, and he is going to relieve as much stress as possible, as much aggravation and inconvenience as possible. Secession, wills, whatever it is that he's doing for me, couldn't imagine, not having Dana's assistance and all of that as well. So if you're in a wreck or if you're just wondering if you need legal assistance or not, take advantage of our initial consultation. It's always free. You can simply pick up the phone, 343-1111, and set it up, or go to our website at ocbrown.com, and there's a big big button you'll see on the main page to schedule that initial consultation as well. My law firm for a lifetime, Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 at ocbrown.com.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And we return here at Chris's. We're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. Man, you hurting? You got something that is bothering you a little bit. You got back problems. You got neck problems. You got soreness. You got things that are keeping you from getting around as well as you'd like, or keeping you from getting a good night's sleep. Let Dr. Michael Goff and his staff help you out. Certainly they've helped out our family over the years to get you into a program that will target those problem areas and just give you some relief, because when that pain takes over, man, it's just the center of everything that's going on. So let them get you into a program that will help you out. If you do have to graduate from just an exercise and stretching program and an adjustment into a dry needle or electric nerve stimulation, cryo or ultrasound therapy, they can help you out. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway, near Drusilla, Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. A couple of NFL stories that are not at all related as we get into the combine this week, but I wanted your thoughts on both of them, Jimmy. The Falcons put the franchise tag on Kyle Pitts today. I don't know if that even qualifies as a surprise.
No, do you want to see what the new staff in front office, let them evaluate him for a year.
They finally started to throw him the ball.
No,
year.
they. Kirk Cousins did.
Yeah, okay. This is exactly what I wanted to talk about. Okay,
Kirk Cousins. I mean, he said, "Well, what the hell, man? Why are you not throwing to this guy?"
I have said for most of this offseason that the most consequential person next year in the NFC South is Michael Penix. If Penix is good, the Falcons probably have the best chance to win a division, my opinion. If he doesn't play good, and Kirk Cousins is going to get cut sometime in March as soon as the deadline goes out, and we'll see if he finds a starting job somewhere else, but he's not going back to Atlanta. So it's on Penix next year.
He's very, very average. And I don't know if he's very mediocre.
And injured now. And this is
he's always been injured. That's why he slipped.
That's it. He put together 2 back-to-back good seasons to get himself drafted where he was, And I don't know what.
Oh, he
let's forget
he had a great year.
He did at Washington.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Not a good one. He had a great year.
Forget the injuries for just a second. What do you think of him in the NFL when he has played?
No, he's average.
Average.
Mediocre.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm considering lack of experience. I mean, I'm not jumping. For some reason, it would seem like people, I don't know, I guess he is a good character, but people were pulling for him, and like he would do some very average things, and they were making it out to be that it's like special. I'm like, okay.
He's completed 60% of his passes, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's through 2 seasons now. Is that good? I mean, I'm kind
I
of
don't
with
know
you.
what his numbers are, Charlie, but when I watch just some of the throws that he makes sometimes, okay, it's okay, that's okay. But then there's some easy throws that he can be a little inconsistent on, and some of he looks fine. Looks, I mean, he just, I don't, you know, I don't. The jury's more than still out on him.
Pitts' numbers, his targets, from 59 to 74 to 90 to last year 118. So just to put that in perspective, they threw him the ball more than Drake London last year, who was also a top 10 pick. And I think most people would tell you now London missed 5 games. Okay, so that's the big.
You hit that breakdown as far as when Cousins played and when Penix played?
I don't have that in front of me, but
because it's
you're right.
It's like triple.
Yes. So I guess the point is, if you're going to use Kyle Pitts, then that's fine. They haven't always. He's still only 25 years old. I mean, it seems like he's been in the league longer than that.
Now, Pitts has been his own worst enemy in a lot of stuff. He's very immature, very, like a lot of Falcons people that cover the Falcons, like just not. They said the quarterback doesn't know what route he's running, this and that.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, Cousins went in there and knew what route he was running, so it was just he has not been the most professional or not been putting in the work. The talent is there. He is a matchup headache. I mean, a guy that size who's maybe listed as tight end, but he's got receiver skills. He's just that freaking big. No, what do we say? Guys at that size can do things and a lot of people can't. Yeah. And so the talent is there, but the lack of commitment and he's been his own worst enemy in some of this. It had just been Penix, not fond of him.
The other story, you ain't going to like this at all. I certainly didn't. Competition co-chair Rich McKay said yesterday they are not anticipating an attempt to ban the tush push this year.
Come on, man. Come on.
I told you weren't going to like it.
We gotta watch this another year.
There's no team proposal that I've seen from it, is what McKay said yesterday. So I wouldn't envision it, but you never know. So somebody's got to put this up.
I know.
And
look, Green Bay got, called out for it when, as being one of the teams. And so maybe those teams that did put up for it aren't going to do it again.
They don't have the
worth
vote.
it.
They don't have the votes. If they had the votes, they'd put it up.
I think
I just don't know why they don't have the votes.
I think they would have the votes. I think they would have the votes. I think that because it was publicized and say you're Green Bay. Well, I'm going to do this again. It didn't get voted and we get villainized on it. Why? No, get villainized for nothing. Hell with it. No, just screw it. Just leave it in now.
That's what they're going to do.
I think the votes would be in.
I don't think. Well,
I think they have the votes.
I don't think it. I don't think it helps the game at all. We're pretty in lockstep on that. We don't like this, but looks like it's coming back for another year. At least another year.
Got to wait for Sirianni to get fired, probably, because he's got this cabal of his former coaches who won't vote against it.
He's got that much sway, huh?
I don't know.
I mean, why are they trying to help him now? They don't coach for him anymore.
They all voted that way.
Some of those guys might see Philadelphia in the playoffs or the Super Bowl. You think they want to see Jalen Hurts doing that thing? Wow. Look, man, I understand you used to be with the guy, but you work for somebody else now. Anyway, looks like the tush push is coming back. That's it. Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with That Nanny, live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Not a big card tonight, only 9 games in college basketball, but 2 really good ones if you'd like to watch the doubleheader. Louisville is at North Carolina. Cardinals a favorite on the road. Caleb Williams remains out for North Carolina. And Houston, a quick turnaround there in Lawrence tonight at the Fog to play Kansas. Cougars a 1.5-point favorite. Louisville a 3.5-point favorite. Any thoughts on either one of those games?
I like Houston to bounce back more than Kansas. I mean, what's been the whole thing that's, the big cloud over Kansas. I mean, it's just, Peterson didn't want to play. Well, he played. He played Saturday. So now they got, some disturbances on, wait a minute, he's fine when they play. Well, no, that wasn't Saturday because they got smoked in the second half when he was on the court by Cincinnati. It was not even a tournament team.
Yeah, Cincinnati's not anything special, and they lost that game.
I mean, okay. Top 50 team, barely.
Right.
Kind of like that.
Right. 15 and 12. No, you don't expect them to go to Fog Allen and win by 16 points.
No, they're not a tournament team right now. And to go in there.
Self's got a real problem in that
yes,
he's essentially coaching 2 different teams right now.
And it's him having to explain or ground protect or just – and then I heard one guy from the Athletic say today that he thinks Peterson's injuries are legitimate.
Well, this is the mother of all distractions. We'll see how they do with it tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks to our friends here at Chris's Specialty Food for being our host today. We will be at Mike Anderson's tomorrow. For Jordan back in the studio, for Max and Jimmy, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. And stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.